Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of May 26, 2022. The current character challenge is Earth 2 Flash. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Cyborg, Flash, and Hawkgirl, who are available as Bronze, and Challenge Gold, respectively, if you're looking at the lowest tier you can get each of them. So, unfortunately, this is the worst type of challenge, which is one where you need another challenge character to even attempt it, right?
So it's a bad entry point for the really new players.
Yeah,
right?
And it's only a good entry point for people who already have somebody else.
Right.
And his passive is Supersonic, which is the Flash or any other Earth 2 character has a chance to stun opponent on tag-in. All Flash's attacks crit against stunned opponents, and the Flash's specials dilate time, so opponents are slowed for 8 seconds. He's got 1,350 for both attack and health.
Okay, I don't know why it occurs to me. There's two funny things. One is this the only character or the only challenge character that needs himself to qualify for it? Are there any other challenge characters that need another skin of themselves?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I think it doesn't seem familiar.
Right.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, I know it's ambiguous, and I know it probably doesn't mean this, but the way it's worded is that other flashes that aren't Earth 2 Flash could benefit from it. And I know it's not true because it doesn't work like that, but all Flash's attacks.
That's true.
That's funny. But anyways.
A little bit of ambiguity, yeah. And so it was last available on the 29th of July, 2021.
Right. He's a great character. He's got good high stats. He was the highest stat Flash until Blackest Night Flash was released, because Blackest Night is like 1,500 and 1,300.
Yeah.
So second highest. And if you know us at all, or you know me really, I like using the Flash.
Yeah.
So nothing else, this would be a fun one to play for no other reason. Passive is interesting. 3 different abilities. And the stun on tag-in is kind of special, because unlike other stuns on tag-in, this one does no damage.
Which is actually better.
Right, because Alright, so it doesn't count as an attack, which means it can't be blocked or avoided if it triggers. It doesn't trigger every time, but it happens no matter what. Like, you can do nothing about it.
Yeah,
it's just random.
If you have Astro Harness and Vulnerability or anything else, there's a lot of ways that you could get avoiding damage or missing an attack. In this one, there's no way to dodge it. If it happens, it happens.
Right. I mean, you could, if you want to lean in this, maybe add more of a stun chance, but the other stun chances that you can add through gear, like Cloak of Destiny 20%, LexCorp Gauntlets 30%, they require you to do damage, so invulnerabilities don't count. And another good way to play them is maybe gears that stun on special one, like Nth Metal Morningstar or Cryo Rifle, because then you can get the next part, which is you auto crit against somebody who's stunned.
Yeah.
So what's neat is you don't need to use gear slots to boost crit chance. The problem, I guess, is that the stun still doesn't happen often enough that you can rely on that and not use some of your gear slots for that.
Yeah.
And the last ability I think is probably the least useful. I mean, Dilate Time is handy. I don't think it's as good as Elseworld Flash's Bullet Time, but it's still helpful in getting attacks that are unblocked. But I guess this is better in a way. It's not as powerful, but it's better in a way because you can do it every single time.
Mm-hmm. And I think the problem is that 8 seconds isn't that huge.
Right.
And so the fact that it's just slowed, if it was really ridiculously slowed, it would be too powerful.
Yeah.
But for the amount that it is slowed, it's just pretty good. A lot of times, if you're playing really well, a lot of times it won't make that big a difference.
Right.
If you're playing okay, it'll make a difference most of the time.
Right.
But then the problem is that sometimes if you get hit with a combo, they're hitting you really slow and you don't have a chance to get out of it.
Right.
And then you burn all of your time getting smacked incredibly slowly, which is not that much fun.
And because Static was a recent challenge character, it invites that comparison. It's almost a shame Static is unaffiliated, because he would be so great Earth 2, because Static is, I think, one of the few cards that guarantees a stun. None of the Earth 2 cards, they all have a chance at stun when they're when you've got the right kind of team, I think, with Hawkgirl. Yeah. But there's no guaranteed stun. If there's guaranteed stun, then
this one also gives you a chance at stun.
A chance, but Static is guaranteed every time. So special one, unblocked, guaranteed. So then it makes it easier to do the kind of strategies that require...
No, but you were saying an Earth 2 team has a chance at stun. This gives you a chance at stun.
Right. No, but I'm saying that full Earth 2, like if you say load up with Hawkgirl, I think has on Combo Ender.
Yeah, chance that's done. Yeah, so they have multiple.
So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess regular Hawkgirl Prime is also good, even if you don't go full Earth 2, because it's each time you tag in, and she just gives you more opportunities to tag in.
Yeah, instead of having their own ability that does stun, it's just something to give you more chances to trigger this specific card's stun.
Right.
Yeah. So we've had 2 complete runs of this 43-week cycle. We are 19 weeks into our 3rd cycle, which means we've gone for 105 weeks of an uninterrupted cycle, and it started off in May of 2020. Next week, we expect to see Apocalypse Darkseid. There are 23 characters that are still missing.
Yeah. I mean, if you do normal math, this is about 2 years worth of a cycle.
Yeah.
If you do weird, a little bit strange math, the non-intuitive stuff, we are starting into the 3rd year of the cycle. We've finished 2 years, and this is the first week of the 3rd year of the cycle.
So it's been 2 full years.
Yeah.
This week's multiplayer award is the Gloves of Azrael, which will become the Gauntlets of Azrael. And when it's fully upgraded, it gives you a 30% max health increase, a 95% life drain chance on Combo Ender, and a 95% life drain chance to teammates on Combo Ender.
Right.
It was last available on the 21st of October 2021. We've had 2 complete cycles of 31 rewards. We are 11 weeks into the 3rd cycle, which means 72 weeks. So, not that 2-year marker, but like coming up on a year and a half.
Yeah.
Next week, we expect to see Blackest Night Superman.
Right. So it's a 4.5-star gear. It's completely defensive. The amount of health boost is nothing special. The Combo Ender life drain used to be really special, and it was the only one that did it like that until the overpowered super came along, which also drains life on Combo Ender. And still really unique is the life drain for teammates. And so, like anything that does Combo Ender stuff, any characters that have extra hits on Combo Ender, like Raven, Deathstroke, Nightwing, Jessica Cruz, Flashpoint Batman, they get extra effects from the Combo Ender. And it is really good on a card that's going to be your healer. And if you're already trying to do Combo Enders anyway for either their passive, like Earth 2 Hawkgirl, or because of gear, like Ra's al Ghul's Scimitar, overpowered super, then it's got a bit of synergy if you use this one. So the problem is, you get more life drain the more damage your Combo Ender does. So you want this on somebody who does a lot of basic damage, and normally you'd use gear slots to increase basic damage. So you'd have to basically give up a little bit of basic damage in order to put this as your 3rd gear. Yeah. And so it's hard. It's harder.
It's always a trade-off.
Yeah, it's always a trade-off. We did a video on the gauntlets focusing on just that a while ago. Most of the principles are the same, but after that video was way before Phantom Zone, and that's where it's really, really useful. So in the old days, before, way back when what was a strong card would need offensive boost with their gears.
Mm-hmm.
But Flashpoint Batman can push out, and Batman Ninja Catwoman can push out a huge amount of basic damage, even with only 2 slots of boost basic damage and crit chance. And so when you have the Phantom Zone task of Health Steal, which we've been looking at for the last 2 weeks, this is super important.
Yeah.
So, because it not only steals health for the character using the gear, it also steals health for each of their teammates. So it triples the value of the health steal.
Yeah.
And so 2, at most 3, if it's, say, the first fight in multiplayer, is enough to satisfy the requirements for the health steal in one fight.
Which is ridiculous. That's so fast. Yeah. You almost don't have to think about it.
Yeah. So previously, when you were using something like LexCorp chest armor to give you health steal, there's it's got life drain chance like 90-something% on special 2, which feels like it should be really powerful, but it isn't, just because a couple of Combo Enders with Flashpoint Batman will do more life steal than a special 2.
Not in a way that's often useful in a fight, but just for fulfilling that requirement.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful sort of from an accounting perspective to get those numbers up, even if it's not that useful in like a fight winning perspective.
Yeah.
So moving on to the store, we have the character bundle Woman of Power for $24.99. All these prices are in Canadian as always, and that comes with Arkham Knight Harley Quinn and New 52 Wonder Woman. So
only one new pack this week.
Yeah. And we also have the Justice League pack for a second week, like you mentioned. Only one new. We have the Survivor pack, which has been around for 20 weeks. The character bundle Batman Universe, which has been around for 25 weeks at this point. The Most Wanted pack, which is 32 weeks deep at this point. I think every once in a while, if they're going to stay around for this long, we might have to refresh and talk about them again. Because they've just been around for forever. We also have the Celebration packs, the 300 Nth Metal packs, and those have all been available for 18 weeks now, with the Aquaman pack have been around for an extra 2 weeks for an even 20. So at this point, they're not even a rotation anymore. They're just all around. In our Survivor, we have the Suicide Squad gear set until the 1st of June, 2022. Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. We have double XP for this weekend, which we're thinking is probably for Memorial Day in the US.
Yeah.
That's our best guess.
Yes, and the fact that it wasn't last week tells us how US-centric the game is, because last week was our long weekend, which was Victoria Day.
That's
for
funny.
Canada.
Yeah, and of course, even then, we're still only talking about North America.
It's true.
Yeah. So, in terms of breakthrough, last weekend's breakthrough was Bane, Killer Frost, and Ares. This coming weekend's should be Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Scorpion. And if you want to check out the breakthrough cycle for yourself, we have a link in the description to a subreddit thread from Devlin16 that goes through the entire breakthrough cycle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And since there aren't any changes in the glitches that work, we're not going to go into detail this week. So as a sort of housekeeping thing, if things don't change for a while, we just repeat the discussion the first week of every month, which means that the 5th of May recap is where we talk a lot about the details, if you want to hear that. And you can also watch everything in a playlist linked in the description. I guess the one thing we do need to point out is that the Earth 2 Flash Challenge, the reset works on that.
Yeah. So there we go. And to finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all the lovely folks who support us on Patreon. So that would be BomboBen, Console Peasant, and Edwoon on the top tier Last Word, Sinemac and Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., Irvin Ruiz, Eddydoo, and Hoshi 127 on the credited level, and not to mention Chris Wolff, Scarlet, Dani, Awesomegamer 241, Pavu RS, Gavin, Mallott, and Isfar E at the gratitude level. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.